So you want to get into Dead by Daylight, well you came to the right place because I'm here to teach you everything about perks, players, characters, everything you need to know, starting with the basics. At the time of this recording, there are currently 38 killers and 45 survivors, each one coming with their own 3 teachable perks. There's plenty of perks to go by, and you can make all kinds of different combos. I'll get on that in the future of this channel. Just subscribe if you're interested for more. The main goal of survivors is, believe it or not, to survive. And how you have to survive is you have to work on generators. Generators spawn all over the map and you have to complete 5 in order to survive. There are 7 generators that spawn in total, but you only have to complete the 5. As you can see in the bottom left over there, there's 5 gens to complete, and that is the main goal. Once the last gen is popped, a gate will appear just like that. You can see through walls, but only for like 10 seconds. Your goal is to now open the gates so everyone can escape together. The exit gates do take quite a bit of time to open, but I won't be able to show it fully in this clip. Once the exit gates are open, there's going to be an in-game collapse timer on the top of the screen. If the survivors are still in the game, by the time the timer hits 0, all survivors will die. Another way to escape is through the hatch. It only spawns if you're the last remaining survivor of the trial. I won't be going through the hatch this time just to show that the killers can also close the hatch. If they close it, the in-game collapse also happens. You can also get really lucky with hatch 2. If you're dead, you can still crawl through it, so don't worry about it. In this clip, you can see there's a heartbeat around my character. That's just to show that a killer is nearby, as you can see right there. You also want to hit skill checks to progress gens as well. Another way to escape killers is to vault windows and pallets. Do be careful where you vault though, because if you fall from a great height, you will be stunned for a small period of time. Although you get stunned from heights, you can also stun the killer in return. All you have to do is time a pallet stun perfectly, just like that. Another way to get away from the killer is to hide in lockers or just hide in general. But make sure you're quiet when entering a locker, because if a killer hears you or sees you go into a locker, they will be able to just grab you from it. Lockers aren't the only way to hide from a killer. If you're just hiding behind a wall but they don't see you, that's a great spot too, as you can see here. You can also crouch behind objects too to make yourself less visible, but crouching will make you slower than walking. If you see a teammate on hook, try rescue them as soon as possible before they die on hook. Most of the time, you should let your teammate save you off hook. You can attempt to save yourself, but it's really risky. In this case, it was not risky, so here's an example of saving myself. Now let's see what happens when I'm not lucky. As you can see, I'm attempting a couple of times. You only have 3 attempts to save yourself, but it's a very low chance. It's like 0.4% chance to save yourself, or 4%. Once you're injured, you can get healed by teammates. Sometimes you can heal yourself, but not all the time. But in return, if your teammate is injured, might as well give them a back rub back. While you're injured, you leave pools of blood behind your trail, as you can see here. You also leave scratch marks that you cannot see as a survivor, which is how the killer can find you, or follow you if they lose track of you in a small amount of time. You can get hit 2 times before you get knocked down and the killer has the ability to put you on hook. Some hits from killers do not instantly injure you, but put you in the deep wound status. What a deep wound status is, adds that yellow bar and makes you have to mend yourself. If you're not able to mend yourself in time, you will die. To prevent the bar from going down, mend yourself, keep running, or get chased by a killer. But once you are eventually knocked down, you can recover yourself before a teammate shows up, so they have less to recover you when they finally get to you. Most of the time, you're going to need a teammate to get the rest of the bar, but I use a special perk. This is what you really need to do, is wait for a teammate. Once the killer finally decides to pick you up, you have the chance to wiggle out of the grasp of the killer before they put you on hook. This is what it looks like if you're just wiggling free. The skill checks, or the great skill checks, get smaller and smaller each time you hit one, but every time you hit one, that bar on the bottom gets more and more progressed, so you can wiggle free just like so. There are 3 hook states that a survivor can survive against. This is just the basic hook state, and you're able to escape as you saw earlier in the video. This is the second hook state, and there's an animation, all of that, all nice and fancy. Get it pretty much stabbed. But there's also skill checks that you have to avoid or click to stay alive. And finally, the third hook stake. You cannot survive from this. This is just instant death. Your teammates cannot pick you up from it. Although there's no communication in Dead by Daylight, there are 2 emotes in quotation marks. Right here, I'm pointing, and so is this Trevor. We're just pointing at the Jinn. But there's another one to say, come here. I use come here to tell the Trevor to heal me. Around the map, you can find totems. In this case, the totems help me with one of the perks, but not always. You can also find orange-looking totems that are called hex totems. Those are perks to help killer with just things. Once you cleanse that totem, their perk is no longer available to be used. While killers get hex totems, we can boon a totem, or blessed totems. I like calling them boons because the perks are called boons. And they just give survivors a bonus. Killers are able to snuff out the boons too, but you can re-enable a boon. Another thing you can find around the map are called chests. Once you unlock them, you can get a random item of literally anything of any rarity. Now onto tools or items. Each tool has its special ability. A medkit allows you to self-heal. The toolbox has a special ability to let you sabotage hooks so the killer does not hook someone. I used a perk in this case, so here's an actual demonstration of a toolbox using that ability. Both the medkit and toolbox allows you to work on something else faster. The toolbox of course allows you to repair generators faster, but the medkit allows you to not repair people, but heal people faster. The flashlight has a special ability to blind killers. Usually it's best to do it while they're breaking a pallet, so they can't see you when you run away. Make sure you're aiming at the killer's eyes though, not just any part of them, directly at their eyes. The flashlight has a special ability to stun a killer if they pick up a teammate. In this case, I mistimed it. You have to time it perfectly to save a teammate though. Just like this, I retimed it and there we go, saved Bill. The map allows you to see the aura of all generators that you discover. You have to walk up to a generator to discover it on the map. After that, you can finally see its aura from the distance. The key by itself is not that useful. You need to put add-ons on to either see the aura of a killer or teammates. The key does have a special ability. If the killer closes hatch, you can sneak up behind them and open the hatch up again to escape. Let's move on to killers now. But the problem with killers is that all their basic abilities, or I should say, their powers or non-melee attacks, are all unique to their killer themselves. So the basics of the killer side is actually very small compared to Survivor, but don't you worry, I'll explain how to play as and against of every single killer in the future. Just subscribe and you'll see. Of course, to start things off, you have the basic melee attack. Every killer has a basic melee attack, and that's the whole thing. But, as you can see, once you hit the survivor twice, as you saw earlier, you can pick them up and bring them to hook. Your goal is to hook each survivor 3 times. Killers can hit gens to make them stop progressing. I mentioned earlier on the survivor side, when you run you leave scratch marks. If you look on the ground, you can see the scratch marks killers can see. Survivors don't really like to be chased, so they'll stun you with pallets. You can break those pallets and follow the scratch marks again. Once a survivor stuns you, they also have the opportunity to blind you, like I mentioned earlier. This is what being blind looks like, and also what it looks like to lose a survivor once you get blind. Once you're blind, don't you worry, because you don't always lose a survivor. If you listen closely, you can find where they are and hit them while you're blind. Killers are able to vault windows, but not pallets. When they vault, it is going to be slower than what survivors vault with. You are also able to fall from a great height and not get stunned. Pause. No, not the video. I meant pause in the editing. There's something I meant to, or I forgot to add in the video. Sorry about this, because I was really tired while editing. But when a survivor fast vaults a window or pallet, fast enters a locker, or unhooks a survivor, the killer gets notified with a notification, like that explosion in the background. If you see a survivor running towards a vault or a window, you are able to hit the mid-vault. Remember those booms that survivors can place down on the map? Well, killers are able to snuff them out. If you press your attack button right next to a survivor doing an action, you can just grab them. Or if you see a survivor go into a locker, you can just grab them at any health state right through the locker. Killers are also able to hear the hatch, so they're able to close it and start the in-game collapse timer, which, another thing is, killers can 100% see the exit gates at all times once their aura is revealed to them. This is what happens if a survivor decides to stay during the in-game collapse timer when it hits 0. Once there is only one survivor remaining, and you knock them down, you are able to activate a special thing called a Mori. The Mori is just some special effect that allows killers to kill the survivor by hand. You can bring offerings to kill all survivors by hand, or just the last one. I did forget to talk about the HUD. These claw marks on the side that I just pointed at, that's the obsession. Doesn't really mean anything unless you have obsession related perks, which I will talk about in the future once more. This screenshot is actually a great example because it shows several different HUD icons. One, it shows the gen progression. You can see the different levels of how far each gen has made it. 2, it shows the player being knocked, and you can see that circle next to their name, that's them resing themselves on how much progress they made on that one. Those smaller claws means that the person is getting chased. That's how you can tell that someone on your team is getting chased without communication. If you see the healing icon but it's a square, that means the teammate is doing the healing progress, and once again the yellow circle is just the progress on how much is being made so far. And of course, this is the icon of your teammates opening an exit gate. There's also icons for cleansing and blessing totems. I was not able to get screenshots of them because it would take a trillion years to get them, but the icons for cleansing a totem is just a picture of a totem, and for blessing a totem, it's the same image, but with sparkly stars around it. But that's the end of this video. If you clicked on it and watched till the end, thank you very much. I very much appreciate it, and hopefully I'll see you next time. Goodbye.